about social media for a second, it's pretty much the only medium that we have to express messages like these, certainly during COVID. I mean, it was a constant battle against the social media governors, but we did have that place to talk. There is a battle going on right now for the soul of AI chatbots. It's a brief diversion. I saw you reply to Elon Musk's tweet about it today, I think it was. Is the capturing of AI by these far-left revolutionaries, is that a big deal? Or do we need to worry about that? Or is the libertarian in you saying, oh, they're private companies, it doesn't matter?
Well, both can be true. Both can be true. We can say these are private companies and they have the right to do what they're doing, and simultaneously say what they're doing is wrong and it's leading us in the wrong direction. It's incredibly damaging. It's one of the common mistakes I think that people make when they come across libertarians is that they assume that if you say the government shouldn't stop people from doing that, that you therefore approve of that thing. And that's not necessarily true. I don't think that government intervention into social media or into AI is the answer. In fact, what we've seen from government intervention into social media over the last few years is that they very much became a part of the problem. They went to war against misinformation and generated more misinformation than you or I ever did throughout the whole of the COVID madness. So I don't believe the government should be the one getting involved in deciding what people are and are not allowed to do. But we, the people, have an enormous number of tools at our disposal. And what we're seeing unfold on Twitter right now, or X, excuse me, what we're seeing unfold on X right now with the revelation of the Gemini chatbots' inherent racism, inherent racist bias. I don't know if you saw this. This blew up as a massive story where Google released Gemini. It was meant to be the next generation AI. Obviously, Google have an enormous amount of resources. So the expectation was that this was going to be a pretty impressive thing. Within days, people were discovering that it just wouldn't generate images of white people. If you asked it to generate an image of a white person, it would say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. If you said generate an image of a black person, it happily complied. Asian person, all sorts of other ethnicities, it was happy to do those things. But if you asked it, for example, to create an image of a pope, it would give you a black pope or a black female pope. But every single pope in history has been a white man. Now, you can say that that's a bad thing. You can say that's not how the world ought to be, but it is historically how it's been. So how is the AI coming up with something else? People started to play with it. They started to challenge it and say, well, give us some images of Vikings. Turns out, according to Gemini, all the Vikings were black. But the reverse doesn't happen. So you would ask it to create an image of Zulus, and it was quite happy to create very authentic looking images of what Zulus may very well have looked like and what we understand them historically to have looked like. So there's this inherent bias that's baked into the Gemini AI, and they actually took the image generator down in humiliation because the whole world was basically laughing at them. They were being mocked from pillar to post all over Twitter. So one of the things that actually encourages me is the fact that we have the ability to mock, and we have the ability where it used to be the preserve of a handful of people that had Tonight shows or your Monty Pythons. These were really the only people in a position to mock. And by the virtue of the way that industry, the entertainment industry worked back then, there were gatekeepers who could decide which kind of mockery is okay. Now, mockery has been democratized, and this is one of the most powerful tools that we have, is the ability to call out the absurdity, and this is what you do so well and what I endeavor to do in my work, is to draw a spotlight onto the absurdity and to get people to laugh at it, because that's the most powerful tool that we have. And these people begin to retreat and begin to shrink, and their power almost just evaporates from in front of them.
Topher, I think it might actually be like a wider problem going on, and that's that we're not very good parents to AI. I don't know if you remember, but it was like 5 years ago that we had this thing where we tried to raise these little AI robots to make them more human, and they opened up to crowdsourcing to let everybody on the internet develop the brains of these AI robots, and they became immediately racist and genocidal within about 5 minutes. So maybe we should just, I don't know, hold back a little bit before we cause a Terminator revolution.